Welcome to my channel. My name's Tanner Murtaugh, and I run two therapy agencies that have helped hundreds of people regulate their nervous system and heal their chronic pain and symptoms. Now, in today's video, I'm going to lay out a step-by-step process to get out of survival mode. I'm going to provide you with the 4 core strategies you need to regulate your nervous system. For the first 25 years of my life, I was constantly in survival mode, in states of fight, flight, and freeze. Now, as a teenager, I started to develop chronic anxiety, depression, addictions issues, and an eating disorder. And then as a young adult, because my brain and nervous system was in this heightened state of danger, I started to develop chronic pain and chronic symptoms. Now, the definition of survival mode is when your nervous system is chronically stuck in states of fight, flight, fawn, freeze, or shutdown. Perhaps you're watching this video because you relate to the darkness that is caused from living in survival mode. But I want to give a message of hope here that it is possible to get out of survival mode and live with feelings of aliveness, ease, and lightness. My agencies have helped hundreds of people start to feel safe and regulated. So please know this is possible. A lot of people think that getting out of survival mode means they will never again be in states of fight, flight, fawn, freeze, or shutdown. And I want to be clear, this is incorrect. Being in any of these states is normal. That's part of being human. When I say getting out of survival mode, what that means is that your nervous system becomes more flexible. So it means you could go into a state of nervousness and anxiety, feel into it, and shift back out with ease to a state of safety and regulation. So being able to exit survival mode is what we're going for. We want that flexibility in your nervous system. Over time, you'll also notice you're going to spend more time in a safe and regulated state. But again, I want to be clear, you're not going to be in this perpetual state of safety. That's just not possible. So let's go through the 4 core strategies you can start to utilize to get out of survival mode. Number 1, embodiment of your nervous system. Healing begins by developing deep connection with your nervous system. So most people, when they're chronically dysregulated, they know they feel bad, but they rarely actually drop into their nervous system, into their body, understand what's happening and what's triggering dysregulation. A lot of people, when they're dysregulated, they don't want to drop into their body because it feels so awful inside. But in order to regulate your nervous system, we need to develop this deep connection with it. And so we need to start to understand, am I in a state of fight, flight, fawn, freeze, or shutdown? So let me break this down. Fight, you're probably going to feel agitated or angry inside. You'll feel tension, your limbs will tense up. You see kids, they make fists with their hands just naturally. You're probably going to feel heat. Your heart rate's going to be elevated. Your spine might be really straight. And for a lot of people, they have a lot of quick, jagged movements. So that's fight. Flight is more this nervous, anxious, or panicked feeling. So again, heart rate's going to be fast. Breathing's going to be shallow. You're probably going to feel tingly or buzziness. Your limbs might tense up. And at an extreme end, you'll probably start to feel shaky or trembly. Fawn is an interesting one because the behaviors of fawn you want to look out for is you're people-pleasing. You're appeasing others. You're desperately looking for social approval. You might be trying to be perfectionistic. And this can often look like us being really inauthentic and not valuing our own needs. Fawn's interesting because it's probably a mixture of fight, flight, or freeze within that fawn response. So when I'm having people understand, oh, am I in a fawn response? The first thing I actually tell them to look out for is what behaviors are you engaging in? Now, freeze and shutdown, where people feel this is the body starts to feel heavy, numb. You might be dissociative or disconnected from your environment. A lot of people feel sinking, coldness, and just overall it feels like your body's gone limp and shut down. So we need to embody our nervous system. We need to start to connect when we're in nervous system states and become really aware of that. This is also going to help you in terms of understanding what's triggering different nervous system states. It was really helpful for me when I was healing to figure out, oh, what does trigger a flight anxious response? What are my triggers for freeze and shutdown? Because they were different. It's also going to help you understand what your nervous system needs in each moment to regulate. Instead of just throwing healing strategies at yourself, actually start to understand your nervous system, connect with it deeply, understand the triggers, because that way you're going to know in each moment what your nervous system needs. Remember, healing begins by deeply connecting with your nervous system. Number 2, learn to control your mind. How you work with your thoughts is going to determine if you enter a state of safety or danger. When people are dysregulated, they have a lot of danger self-talk happening in their minds. Danger self-talk can include worry thoughts, fear thoughts, obsessive thoughts, self-critical thoughts, or hopeless thoughts. And many people feel like they have no control over their minds and they buy into every thought that they have. See, we can't stop our mind from thinking. That's just not possible. But we can learn to distance ourselves from our thoughts, not buy into our thinking, and realize it's often not factual, and learn to counteract danger self-talk with safe self-talk. Safe self-talk could include, this sensation is unpleasant, but it's safe to be with, and it is temporary. The situation I'm facing feels scary and challenging, but in the past, I've overcome challenging situations. I'm capable of this. By doing healing work, I can exit survival mode and increase regulation and safety. By creating distance from your thoughts, not buying into them, and using safe self-talk, you can regain control of your mind. Number 3, practice calmness. Your nervous system can be retrained to hang out in a safe and regulated state. When we're dysregulated and we've been stuck there for months or years, it feels like we have no access to that state, that wonderful state of safety, calmness, and regulation. And so we need to retrain our nervous system. And how we do this is we practice using safety signals, being in a safe and calm state. We need to teach our nervous system that it is capable of hanging out there. And so in my approach, I teach people a number of different safety signals early on in treatment. This includes breath work, present moment sensing, visualization, somatic movement, safe self-talk, and tapping and massage. And so I recommend each day practicing these safety signals so that you can retrain your nervous system to hang out here more often and have an easier time getting there. But I want to be clear, you could pepper your entire day full of safety signals. You're never always going to feel safe and regulated. You're human. It's normal to go into dysregulated states. But by practicing calmness, we can train our nervous system to get there more easily. Number 4, live life differently. The way you live life can determine a feeling of safety or danger. A lot of times, when people are trying to desperately get out of survival mode, they dive into using all the healing practices that I've already mentioned, which is great. That's wonderful. But we also need to not lose sight of that the way that we live life can greatly determine if you're going to feel dysregulated or regulated. In the hundreds of people I've worked with, I find a lot of people are stuck in two types of lifestyles that make them feel chronically dysregulated. These include high intensity living and low intensity living. Now, high intensity living includes things like high achieving, perfectionism, people pleasing, always rushing and feeling urgent, being excessively busy, and having excessive pressures and expectations on yourself. Now, low intensity living, for these individuals, they feel isolated. They hide out from the world. They don't connect with friends or family. They stop moving their body and they excessively use electronics. And for a lot of them, they have this lack of purpose or meaning. And so we need to balance our lifestyle to exit survival mode. If you're in high intensity living, you need to slow things down. You need to take the pressure off. You need to live with more of a sense of ease and lightness. You need to stop prioritizing achieving all the time. And you need to break apart people pleasing. You need to set boundaries and start using free expression. Now, by doing that, you can exit high intensity living. Now, if you want to exit low intensity living, we need to mobilize our nervous system. So this means you need to start to move your body. You need to stop doom scrolling on your phone or excessively watching YouTube videos, even my channel's YouTube videos. You need to start to connect with others, and you need to start to work towards purposeful action. Now, I want to be clear, this purposeful action, feeling like a lot of meaning and passion, it's not just going to click on. That's not possible. But you need to start to engage in behaviors that mobilize your nervous system and get you moving. Take the next step towards your career. Start to do a hobby that you used to really love. And so by doing all of these, you can exit low intensity living. And so we need to balance our lifestyle. And by doing this, it naturally starts to create safety and regulation in your nervous system. So these are the 4 core strategies that you can start to utilize to exit survival mode. Please put your questions, comments down below, and I'll talk to y'all soon. Take care.